Hey everybody, welcome to Board Game Smorgasbord. I'm Roy Kennedy.
I'm Joey Evans.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
Don't we normally go this way?
We do. I just ignore it.
Joey can never get this right.
Really
We went that way. We go this way.
Do we?
Yeah.
That was correct.
Joey nailed it.
Good job, Joey.
I'm
so
a veteran.
confused. Anyway, it's so weird without a table. You never know which way is clockwise or counterclockwise.
Because you're there looking.
I think
so
you're
it feels like it's
watching
the, other way.
the reverse there.
Oh.
Oh. Flip it.
That's it. I'm normally over there looking at everybody in reverse.
That's true.
Anyway, hey, we're here for Board Game Smorgasbord. The main crew is not here who's normally here. Nobody who's normally here is here, which is kind of crazy.
For different reasons, but yeah.
For different reasons. So
The main crew.
Mike is,
no offense taken.
Mike is behind the camera working. You know,
Good job, Mike.
His new office space. I assume he's in the comments. He was in the comments yesterday. I
Really
assume.
far behind the camera.
But yeah, Mike,
Really
are you there?
And Tom and Z are on a trip currently doing other board game related things.
Yeah.
So
Stuff.
Yeah, they're working out in Nashville for the week.
But we do have a sponsorship. Bezier Games is sponsoring today's episode, and we also have a giveaway. So for the giveaway, we're going to be talking about Cat in a Box, which is a trick-taking game, which has interesting properties of different things like that, about the whole Schrödinger's cat sort of thing. I haven't actually played Cat in a Box. Have either of you?
Oh, I have. I liked it a lot.
Gotcha.
Played it the first time at Gen Con in a bar at, this sounds weird, in the Marriott. We just played it right there. And
The Marriott.
okay.
That took a turn. All right.
You know what?
Let's clean up
Kinda
the story.
took off with
Joe's in a bar. You're never
Joey's
sure if he's
played the
dead
game.
or alive.
That's all.
You know?
Took off with nowhere to land on that one. So let's just say I played it and I enjoyed it, and it was very, it's pretty funny.
So we're going to be giving away one copy of Cat in a Box worldwide, and all you have to do to enter is go to contest@dicetower.com or contest@dicetower.com, send an email to us, and in the subject put quantum as the word, and also answer the question: how many of the cards you are dealt are unused in a round with no paradoxes? So
Do you know, Joey? Don't say it.
don't say it. That's too much. Too
Do you
much.
know?
Too much
No,
spoilers.
I do know.
Well, if you've played Cat in a Box, then, you know, you might know the answer to that.
The
but
game.
also, you can look up some information to be able to figure that out. But we do want to thank Bezier Games for sponsoring this, and hopefully you enter the contest to try to get yourself a copy of that.
Yep.
Well, we're going to jump right into the news, and let's make this happen.
Do it.
Well, the first one here is I don't know. Do you guys like this game?
No.
I used to play a bunch of Munchkin back in the day, and this is a Munchkin Squids expansion.
Yeah.
I have forsaken Munchkin a long time ago.
Yeah, this isn't my solid game, but I do like that this one comes with a cuddle bone.
Oh.
I don't know. Is that a shout out to the true facts of
What?
the cuttlefish? No one knows that reference.
You made us watch that video back in the day, but that was also a long time ago.
Also not safe for work, but highly recommend it.
Cuddlebone. I
Let's
would
bring it up right now.
Okay. I have not seen it. I will Google it later.
It's one of those videos that's kind of like the honey badger thing almost, right?
It is, yeah. It's very, but it's like it's informational.
So yeah, when I thought Munchkin, I thought there aren't enough squids, honestly, you know, so.
The world needs more tentacles.
Well, that's obvious. Yeah. But is this Cthulhu based? Is this like, there's a lot going on. Munchkin, it's one of those games I think everyone's played, not everyone likes. Most people don't.
I've not played.
You've not played Munchkin at all?
No.
Yeah, so.
Every time someone explains it to me, I'm like, hard pass. There's nothing about that.
Do you like
is
Take That?
No.
Do you like Wild Swings of Luck?
No.
Do you like
Squid.
stabbing people in the back in games?
In games, no.
Oh, well. I think you'll hate it then.
Right, like that's so. Yeah, no, I've not played it because there's like nothing in it that draws me.
I think Munchkin like is one of the best-selling games out there, and I know it gets an extremely bad rap from like people that are gamers or like legitimate gamers, but in the casual like community of gaming, like it's still a big thing. So it's kind of interesting.
I can see that.
That's the thing. I think most people need games like that they love, the heavy, and then they need their relaxing games. And some people find this relaxing, which is crazy to me because there's
Right.
so much backstabbing. But some people just enjoy this.
The main thing is like what you do doesn't really matter anyway.
No, it does not.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm not against Munchkin. I just can tell it's not a game for me.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's not like, hey, it shouldn't exist. No, if you like this game, that's fine. That's completely valid. I just, like you pointed out, there's mechanically nothing about this that I'm going to like. I
I agree that it's not a game for you. I also agree that it's not a game for me.
Really dropping facts.
And there's a bear tentacle, which is amazing.
Well,
Bear tentacle?
and I'm back in.
Maybe there is something I'm interested in.
Yeah. Thinking about that.
Awesome. The next one here is how do you say this? Deadly
Dowagers.
Dowagers.
Yes.
Did you actually know that, or did you make it up?
I knew that. You didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew that. I was making
Yeah,
sure you
okay.
knew that.
Yeah.
This seems like a theme that'd be
At all.
way more up your alley here, Camilla, as far
I
as
know.
like,
Okay, this
like-
thematically is so much fun.
Yeah.
So in this game, you are playing as a dowager who
Right.
is trying to move up a social status, and so you're trying to entice and get married, and then kill your husband so that you can marry. So ultimately, you want
That's
to go
actually
through enough
amazing.
marriages so that you marry the Duke. But you have to be careful and make sure you don't
get
go
caught?
too high up so that he's still interested in you, and you don't get caught. Obviously, yeah. It's
Now,
so neat.
For those out there that, not me, that don't know what a dowager is. What is it? Those people, I'm on your
Oh
side.
gosh, a dowager. I don't know exactly. I mean, I know it's.
I've heard
it's
the
like,
word.
You don't have to be a widow to be a dowager, right? It's just somebody who has. Like a dowry.
Like a
So somebody
okay,
that
so it's
has,
like-
right. So it's like a daughter who has a dowry or something to offer a male. But in this one, it's opposite because you're trying to get what they have.
gotcha.
So they're trying to climb up the social ladder type of thing.
Right. So they have stuff to offer the marriage, but they don't have the social status in order to climb
it's
up.
very true to real life, right?
So it's like Munchkin.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Okay.
like
Climb up the levels.
But yeah, it's a tracks game. It's ladder. Social status.
There you go.
It's a train
Do
game.
it. Gotta climb up the social ladder by murdering your husband.
I don't know. I just think it's a really interesting
That's a
take.
quote.
You know, right, I
Goes
love
on the
these
box.
unique themes where it's a
is.
little twist on it. You know, I mean, Victorian era. It's not really my
Obsession style.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's not one I'm drawn to. You know what I mean? Like I don't love Downton Abbey and that kind of time period. I'm fine with it. I'm not offended by it. But I love it when they can take a theme like that and make it immersive or take a
There you
different,
go.
interesting take on it. You know, so this kind of makes me, and we'll talk about this later. But this kind of makes me interested in this theme.
That's funny because
okay.
I thought because you liked Obsession so much, I thought you did enjoy that theme, but you really just enjoy the mechanics and the way
Right.
that it comes together.
I'm very
kinda cool.
indifferent on the theme.
Oh.
That game does the theme so well that I care about the theme.
Oh, it's awesome.
That makes sense.
To be
Hopefully this will
continued.
be cool. Next one here is the Fraggle Rock card game.
Jim Henson!
All this time we've lived life without a Fraggle Rock card game.
How?
And now we're going to be able to have that.
And the animation has not changed. The pictures are just the exact same. I mean, this is
Right, so we have a couple
Wonderful.
Jim Henson ones, and now they're
Yeah, this one's
releasing
really
two
cool.
different ones. So this one and the next one are both. I think the next one is the Dark Crystal.
Oh, yes.
And so,
Oh.
yeah, so this company has the rights to these, and they're doing two different card games.
Interesting.
The first one is a very simple kind of memory game, if I'm not mistaken. We'd have to go back and look at the notes there. The Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, and it says that the Dark Crystal one's going to be more strategic.
Right, and it's going to be a trick-taking, more, so a trick-taking card game. So Fraggle Rock is kind of a memory-style game, very kind of mass market feel, but have again, all the original art for it. And then Dark Crystal is going to be trick-taking, a little bit more strategy,
Yeah.
more of a gamer kind of game. Still, I think mass market, because it has the Jim Henson artwork and kind of appeal to it. But yeah,
These are going to be
definitely
coming out
leaning
this
into it.
summer too, so released
Pretty soon.
July. So that's kind of cool.
I have not seen Dark Crystal.
I saw some of it. Like I don't remember if I watched the whole thing. It's very interesting.
Really? I've seen
I
Labyrinth.
feel
Does
like
that count?
I feel like I watched it later in life when I should have watched it earlier to like get the
Definitely.
nostalgia.
So a
for
lot
it.
of stuff.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people watched it way back in the day and have a lot of nostalgia for it.
Right.
I forgot that was on HBO, right? Fraggle Rock. That's why we didn't watch it at all. It was on
Down
HBO.
Fraggle Rock.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, got it.
We didn't have HBO.
I did watch
okay.
Fraggle Rock, and that's.
Tell me more about your sob story.
So sad.
All right, the next one here is Three Ring Circus from Bezier. This looks like a
This is
little
interesting.
card game, I guess, or little small game.
So I think this is, I don't know the size and scope of it, but mechanically, like you're moving around different cities trying to
US
build
towns,
up
yeah.
your circus so that you can go and have your circus attend the big city. But in order to get there, you of course have to have the resources, the notoriety, things like that. You kind of have to build up your circus to make it in that big city and
Yep.
kind of compete alongside Barnum or Bailey, one of the two.
Oh, nice.
I don't know, whatever.
We're trying to collect resources and assemble a show, but the big city is where the real glory lies.
Yeah, glory.
Yeah. This interests me. Obviously, I like the theme of everything.
Yeah, I think this is cool. Again, there's interesting things with a little take on it, I mean,
Right.
you're trying to manage the circus. We talk about this a lot of times with the sports games.
Yeah.
I like that. Like, I've not found a sports game yet where I'm playing the sport. that I really care for. You know, like a soccer game where I am soccer, but I am really interested in some of the newer trend that we're seeing with like 11, for example. You're not playing soccer, you're managing the soccer
like
team.
The team manager.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, kind of getting into the more Euro of it. So yeah, I think this is kind of the same thing. You know, you're managing the acts and you're building up your circus and moving around. I think
going from town to town, trying to make a big impact. Or
right.
whatever.
Which is probably easier to bring to the board than actually, doing the actual circus itself. That'll be really hard to.
I have no.
Well, it's hard for them to fit the elephants in the box.
Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like the idea of this. Being able to bring in recruit different things. I think it's interesting.
The next one here, we actually have several of these games. This is a Pick a Bit Pin. These are several different kind of like roll and write style games, but they're all you roll the actual pencils themselves to get the symbols and stuff you need. So they made these pencils and they're like, we're not going to make one game, we're going to make 3 of them. So the first one here is Krypton or whatever. Lots of different shapes and things. I am not a huge normal like roll and write fan of stuff. It's like you roll the stuff, you draw the stuff on. It's fine, it's okay, but I don't get immersed in the theme of rolling pins. You know.
What do y'all think about? What do you think about the idea that the pencils are the dice, as well as it's not a usable. What am I trying to say? It's going to reach the end of its life. Consumable. It's a consumable.
Yeah, I do find it interesting that they put the rolling part on the very, very end of the pencil for each of these. And each of these have different symbols and stuff on the pencils. So they are like, even the rolling like sides are different. They didn't use like the same ones for different types of games.
I haven't looked into this much. Do you roll the pencil and then you have to pick up that same pencil and then use it to write?
Yes.
Right.
See, that right there might get fiddly.
That is one of the things I am worried about. This is like, even these games, most of them, I guess, is probably, I wonder how many sets of pencils it comes with. I don't know if it says here, but it's probably just you can't get one of each pencil.
Yeah.
So that way you're each going to have to like grab it and like, hopefully it's like you can only grab one of them or something, because if you're having to pass that pencil around, that would be ridiculous,
and remember which one it was. So I don't know. I at first was kind of thrown off by that. I was like, right, but what do you do when the pencil runs out? But then I think about roll and writes. I'm like, I've never gone through a whole stack of paper. I'm sure people have, but I personally have not even gotten close to that. And
personally, if you're running out the pencil in this game, you can probably afford to buy another copy of it because you enjoy the game that much.
And if you're
getting that far into the game.
Yeah, that's true.
If you've run out the pencil, you've probably also run out the pad, so you're going to get another copy.
Also, once the pencil runs that far down, just get pencils of the same color, and then you just have dice that are
right. You
those
have
are just the dice.
That's what I thought too. So at first I was like, I don't know about this, but it kind of grew on me, and I like that they have the 3 different versions that have a little bit different. None of them are hugely thematic, right? But you do have a garden one. You have, I think it was an undersea, a diving one, and then this one here that we're looking at on your screen, which is like a shape matching one, which kind of reminded me of Super Big Mega Lucky Box in a Fox something. Mucky Box. Mucky Box.
Happy Fun Box.
Happy Fun Mega Boxes of greatness. So I think that was interesting, that they're taking this and kind of giving you a couple different takes on it. We'll see.
How many sides do these pencils have on it? Pencils normally have 6.
Yeah, they look hexagonal.
So basically it's the same as a 6-sided dice. That's crazy.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The next one here is Wandering Towers. This is by Capstone Games, which Capstone normally does amazing stuff. So even if they don't make normally my style of game, like I know they're extremely well regarded for all their stuff. And this is a Michael Kiesling and Wolfgang Kramer game, which are also well-known designers. So this looks pretty cool. I don't know all the aspects of this. You're all students in a class, a magic school, getting ready to do their final exam. It's a Eurogame, so who knows how much of that actually goes through.
Yeah, we don't know, right?
I'm halfway in.
I do like the fact that it actually has like a tower that you're actually building as the game goes, with your little wizard meeples and things like that. That looks pretty cool. But you're trying to use powerful spells to help your students and hinder your opponents. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder if there's a little bit more interaction in this style game than I wonder.
I remember it being a pretty quick game too. I haven't played, but I remember when I was looking at it, it's pretty quick, right? As well.
It's a half-time listed here.
30 minutes.
Yeah,
so
that's super quick.
I remember it kind of being surprised by that when I was looking mechanisms-wise what you're doing and trying to accomplish, and then to see it's only a 30-minute game, I was like, oh, interesting. We'll see if that's because it's really snappy, or... Yeah, I don't know, because it seemed like there was a lot more going on that wouldn't be 30, so that kind of contrast caught me.
It goes all the way up to 6 players, too, so that's kind of cool.
No, it says 30 minutes, not per player, either,
right,
you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, definitely one to look out for.
6 players in 30 minutes is nice.
Because Capstone stuff is normally pretty quality.
Yep.
Potato Man. This is a trick-taking game. It's been around for forever, but it's going to be coming out again. I know Chris was saying that he wanted to get a copy of this probably.
He's so excited.
Potato Man. He's just a big fan of potatoes in general normally.
Yeah.
So. And there's a wedge of cheese back here as well. So
of course.
It's trick-taking. I'm sure the potato theme comes through.
Yeah, no doubt. Theme first in this one.
You got cheese. One of those potatoes. Well, I was going to say it's about to get baked, but then I thought
they still make potato sticks?
They're called French fries.
No, they're not.
Chicken fries?
Those are not good though. Have you've eaten potato sticks? Those
yeah.
The little hard ones?
The little hard ones? They're really good on hot dogs.
Okay, honestly.
That's like
I can see that.
That's like the Cuban thing, or not the Cuban, the Colombian thing to do.
Oh, okay.
So.
So I wonder if there are down here. I just haven't seen them in years. So I wonder if I find them down
They definitely are.
Oh,
yeah,
is it? Okay, all right.
You can find them in
Florida's been
Walmart.
hoarding the potato sticks. Got it. Now I can go find them.
And if you go to like a there's a really good I don't know why we're talking about this, but they're really good Colombian like hot dog place or whatever you can get it. And a lot of times if you have food trucks that have hot dogs or whatever down here, they'll put the potato sticks on
I don't think I've ever had. I could see like a chili dog with potato sticks.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh snap! We need to have that.
Yep.
Oh,
Forget taco bar. We're having a hot dog bar.
Hot dog bar would be great.
That'd be fantastic.
You're not talking about the new and updated graphics of Potato Man.
Oh yeah,
Potato Man is great.
Potato Man, trick
Great
taking
graphics
game. And it probably has interesting trick-taking mechanics. Anyway, next.
Chris is excited.
Claim alliances. This makes Claim cooperative, and it has art from the Miko, which is awesome. It's not a Shim Phillips game, but it is Scott Alms. I like Scott Alms games.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that. Interesting.
Yeah, Scott Alms does a bunch of the tiny epic stuff, and he makes one of my favorite games, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. And he's made this game, so this looks pretty cool.
That's cool. I haven't played Claim. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I don't really know much about it either, but the fact that this is cooperative always has me interested, because I'm always a fan of cooperative games in general.
Really? You like cooperative games?
Yes. Why do people act shocked when I say
You're so aggressive when you play games.
Also, Joey, you really haven't played that many games with me. I'm not so aggressive when I play games.
That's true. He's not. You just win a lot.
Yes, you don't have to be aggressive to win.
I just don't win a lot. I think that's what I'm getting at.
By people winning. You're
I'm like,
aggressive.
Roy's already got those
if
countries.
being aggressive means win, then yes. But if the time doesn't call for aggression, then I'm willing to ally with you against Camilla until we have to betray her.
Oh, we've already decided that.
Okay, so yeah, aggression. Yeah, you're definitely not.
That's been decided.
Anyway, did you say like backstabbing games? No, I'm kidding.
Let's play Munchkin after this with hot dogs.
It looks cool. I mean, I don't know as much about it, but yeah, it looks pretty cool overall. You're gonna have different factions. You fulfill requirements on alliance cards.
The artwork is great.
Yeah, the show is always.
Lots of
really
commandeering all these different factions and defeating enemies. You can win together.
Co-op.
Cooperative.
Yeah.
So, seems good. Next one. This one's crazy. I have no clue how to pronounce this.
Oh, I'm so excited to try.
Do it. You do it.
Dowagers.
I cannot try and pronounce. I can't pronounce that without being offensive.
Listen, if that giant dragon...
Drakenhooter?
Yeah, looks crazy. I like the fact that it's like a hairy dragon.
It stands...
hairy dragon yak.
That stands for Fabio Dragon, is what it is.
Fabio Dragon.
This is a 2 to 4 player game where there's 2 stacks of cards from a magic book, which indicates how many dragons can be herded. So you're basically going to be herding dragons. When each card has taken, the magician the players are magicians, and you. I'm reading this, but not very well. You basically put spells in different spell books, and you're trying to get points by doing that
Very
stuff.
magic heavy today. I'm feeling that.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, very fantasy.
I love that part. I mean, that is a fabulous dragon.
That is wonderful. I love that we can kind of have a different take on it, you know?
I mean, I like just the little bit of fire coming out of his mouth. Like he's just...
He's a little baby. He's
just
working
playing
on it.
with it. He's just... There's a lot to unpack. Let's just stare at this, everyone, for a little bit. There's so much to unpack. And is the book sitting or floating?
It's definitely floating.
I'm not seeing a book. Where's the book?
Right there in front of that little, he's
Oh, okay,
right
it's
there.
behind the camera. I can't see
Yeah, because
it.
your mage is like trying to get these dragons. It's pretty cool, casting different spells.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, I know nothing. I'm really going on nothing but the art on this one.
You know nothing about the Drachenhutter? I don't know. Did I get it right?
Wow, you rolled with that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's your compliment for the day.
There you go. All right, next one here. Another one that like, oh my goodness, pronouncing this.
This is a great day.
See, Tom just says things wrong. I will just refuse to say them.
Nunatak?
Nunatak.
Oh, keep going though.
Nunatak?
Temple as is
Ice Temple.
Ice Temple. Yeah,
Ice Temple.
That's not English, right?
you
That hasn't
cheated.
Been translated.
For some reason, Mike included the German picture.
Yeah,
instead
thanks,
of the
Mike.
English.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
New in 2023.
Creative, they all
This
had
is a 2 to
English
4 player
names,
game.
but he's not even using
This is
English
coming
names.
from Kane Klenko, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Kane Klenko, which I know him mostly for his real-time stuff. So I think this is interesting. From what I understood in the description, it's not going to be real-time.
Yep.
Really?
I know he's done. I'm sure he's done stuff other than real-time. That's just how I personally know him. I mean, I have multiple of him on my top 100.
It says that you're going to be building pyramids together in a mountain of ice, but the game isn't
cool.
cooperative,
Right.
so you have to watch your step. Each pillar is placed, you receive cards of different values that will affect your score in the game. In the end, for each of the 4 pillars of the square, a new level of the monument opens up, but the Temple of Ice is growing step by step. Who can place the most stones wisely and rise to the icy challenge?
And I don't get the feeling that it's semi-co-op. I feel like it's just a collaboration.
You're building, but
Of
you're
an
trying to
ice
figure out how to
temple,
get
right?
points doing it
Yeah.
the best.
So have you guys ever been to one of those like ice hotels or ice restaurant, ice bar, the ones they make for a little bit? And you
We
get
live
to
in
go-
Florida. No.
No.
Well, there's one in like I wanted to say
Not
Tampa. That
Florida.
makes sense though.
No.
What did I see one? Anyway, I
Tampa.
see them everywhere. No, I don't. I see them on TV a lot. I've always wanted to go. I realized I couldn't back that up. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Next thing's gonna be like, I had a dream one time. This is a real thing. It's developing very quickly.
Tell me you know they exist though.
I've seen that sort of thing or whatever, but I have when I used to work at my old job, I used to have to work in the freezer sometimes, and like nothing about an
You had
ice
no
bar.
desire.
Nothing
No,
about the ice
terrible.
bar sounds great to me. Like working in a freezer is not fun. Having to like
Eat?
in a freezer.
No.
I know. That's why the hotels just intrigued me because people pay to go stay there, and
But this game, you can have that feeling
in Florida.
and, still have it warm.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, I'm interested in this design. I think, like I said, I'm a fan of Kane Klenko, and I do think it's
Orlando?
interesting because it's not going to be the semi-co-op. It is going to
Ruthie
be
says one's in
collaborative.
Miami.
See? Thank you, Ruthie. It's
Can't back you up. No. Here is another
Lori,
game
one in
from
Orlando,
Uwe
too.
Rosenberg and Michael Keller. It looks like a polyomino game, a prototype at a con. What is that? Loria Con?
What is that?
Lirio?
It's a game convention in Portugal. They were play testing a prototype there. So it looks like we have another game coming out from Uwe Rosenberg with polyominoes.
Huh.
Color me shocked.
I'm not over polyomino games. And I like seeing. To me, in my mind, it's more almost a mechanism at this point. You know what I mean?
love
It's not a
polyomino.
style of game. It's more of a mechanism, and so I mean, it's just cool. I know I like that. I'm excited to see. Hopefully, it's a new take on it. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a whole lot of information here, but hey, it's going to be
that
coming
cover's
out.
pretty sweet.
You had
All
me at
these-
polyominoes.
Oh, there you go.
I mean that's got to be a prototype, right? I mean,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
says it is. Yeah.
yeah, it looks like
So,
it.
but
I
you
like
do
the
have a
box
little
cover.
bit of box cover art, which of course may
Yeah.
or may not be final. So
I
but that's
am
cool.
interested.
Yeah, me too.
Next here we have another game.
More Micho artwork, right?
More Micho artwork. Is
This is
this?
nice.
Is it what? I'm sorry.
Kelte.
Kelte. It doesn't say it on the cover. So Kelte
Sounds so
for
good.
release at Spiel this year.
It's the same haircut as the Drachenhorter. Right?
Yeah,
Good.
you're basically having your Indo-European people spreading over Europe, and tribes and groups ranging in the British Isles and Portugal.
Tell me that's the box cover.
I hope so.
Oh, I'm just going to set
That's
it
really
at the
nice.
end of my
That's so
wife's
cool.
bed every time when she wakes up. That's just put a
start that
candle in
sentence
front of
over?
it.
What'd you say?
Put a candle. That's spooky. I mean, come on, put that right there.
Oh, you're going spooky. Okay. All right.
Which direction? Oh. Come
Yeah,
on,
it looks like you have different
though.
workers, farmers, builders, soldiers, and nobles.
Oh my!
And you're taking farming actions, build actions, battle actions. I'm in.
Told you.
You had me at battle action.
Aggressive.
Here's the thing. The funny thing is, I like games where there's combat.
What?
But I don't necessarily need to be involved in the combat at all. I just want there to be a
You just
potential.
want
of
someone,
You just want someone to die.
I don't care who
I want
is
other
fighting.
people to squabble while I'm over
want
here gathering
fighting.
my resources. and
You
getting
want to be
victory
one of those
points.
war mercenaries that just sell things in different countries and
I
go
just
at
want to
it.
pit other people against
He
each
is
other
the
while we play the
mob
game.
boss.
You
He
play-
doesn't want to get his hands dirty. He just
Let's
wants
play
to.
Mean Girls, the game. It's like, you know what they said?
That's the game for Mean Girls?
Oh my gosh, you'd be all
Stop
over
trying to
it.
make fetch happen.
This is funny. This is interesting because I think like looking at this and all the mechanisms and that kind of stuff, and it reminded me of like a Shem Phillips game. You know, like maybe a
Yeah.
little bit of Raiders, maybe a little bit of which I've actually played now. I'm so excited. I played a Shem. I know, right, Chris? Yeah, I'm a big girl now.
I'm a big girl.
But yeah, so I think it reminded me a lot of that, but it's not. And of course, obviously, visually, it looks like it as well. Using
I love that. It looks like it has like that a little bit of that civilization building up
Yeah.
aspect to it.
Yeah.
I love games like that where you're being able to do like these style of actions, building up units and doing
Yeah.
all the stuff. So
And it looks again like it has a good mix of mechanisms, and I think the key is just to see how those come together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how smooth it is when it actually comes to play. So, but yeah, absolutely interested in this one.
Looks really
for
nice.
sure. The next one here is Santorini. This is the cooperative expansion for this. So you're actually going to be playing through like a little Santorini book, going through, I guess, different puzzles that you're kind of working. 1 to 4 player cooperative expansion. The adventure book takes you through unique scenarios across the Greek Isles. This is awesome.
Right.
This looks really cool. Like, if this works well, this will be amazing. You know, I mean, Santorini's a great
This
like
one-
abstract game, and adding a little bit of that theme in there, and then just making all these different puzzles seems really cool.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I
Well,
keep
no,
cutting
this
you
one
off.
I love. It makes me sad because one of my favorite games, and my wife put this on one of the top 10 games that she doesn't like, and she's played with me so many times, and I'm so sad
that's so funny.
because
Listen,
it's a 2-player
I love
game.
It is now a 1 to 4 player game, so you can now play it by yourself. because no one else is playing this
But
with
it's also
you.
cooperative.
Look at
I mean, this is not a game I like. It's too abstract for me. You know what I mean?
really?
At least it's pretty, that kind of stuff, but it's too abstract. It's too 2-player abstract and not my thing. And yeah, they made it pretty. That's cool, but it feels like an abstract when you play it. So I don't like the game. But putting a co-op on it, if I'm going to play it abstract, that's kind of what I want. And so I'm interested in this. Actually, if this might bring Santorini. It will bring Santorini back to the table for me.
I do wonder how
At
it's
least
gonna.
once.
I do wonder how it's gonna work because normally Santorini is about like getting your building built and then getting your guy on top of it, and sometimes
Right.
people are blocking off by putting buildings on top of it so your guy can't go up there. I wonder if it's gonna be like, okay, guys,
Yeah.
here's the setup. Do this in 4 moves or whatever. Do this in 3 moves or whatever.
And I think-
Right. Figure that out.
Like a
I think
puzzle?
that's what's interesting about it is I can't visualize how Santorini would work as a cooperative game.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what kind
Yeah.
of intrigues me is like I can't see it. It's not like, oh well, this obviously we were waiting for this, you know, because it's so clear. So it's like, okay, cool. This is they've done a couple different iterations. They did Santorini and then what, like a New York one or something. There was
Yeah,
whatever
I really
that
like the
second
New
one
York
was. You know, and so they've had time. It's not just like Kickstarter where it's like, and cooperative, and solo. You know, it doesn't seem just pasted on. So I'm interested to see what they do to make it cooperative.
I just
make it
like
work.
the ease of getting someone into this game. You just sit them down and literally 2 minutes later, you're like, you can do this, move, build, that's it.
Yeah.
And it's just, I like, it's smooth. But I can understand people don't like it.
It's super simple. It seems
is.
cool.
What was Tom's news? What did we miss in the chat here? We have 3.
Playing this live in the Spring Spectacular.
Oh, we're playing this live.
Ooh.
Oh,
Sweet.
Is this like dibs, nose goes? How are we?
Dibs.
How are we doing this? No.
You already said you didn't like Santorini.
Yeah, you don't. You don't.
I
You're out.
like, oh, you, wait, who are you talking to? Oh, yeah, you're out.
I'll fight you for it.
Aggressive.
Catch me outside.
I'll be running the stream probably. Anyway, so the next piece of news is the one that I'm super excited about. This is Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated 2 Darkest Magic. I played through all of Clank Legacy with Tom and Sam back in the day, and it was a blast. Like, I really enjoyed Clank mechanics, and Clank Catacombs is my girlfriend's current favorite game. So I'm like,
Oh,
man,
this is fun then.
they're like,
Yeah.
if like we haven't, she's never played a Legacy game. I'm like,
Oh,
man,
this is fun then.
They're like, if we haven't, she's never played a Legacy game. I'm like, man, if we could get this to the table, or like even getting back the first one or whatever and playing through that again, it'd just be a lot of fun. This basically you haven't played Clank Legacy at all, have you?
I haven't played Clank. Like I said, the Shem Phillips games and Clank, those are two like big ones that I've been intimidated by and haven't touched. So finally, I played Raiders, and now Clank is on the radar as well. That I need to try something in that line.
Paul Din's deck building games are really good. Like if you like,
I like deck building.
Yeah, if you liked like kind of the way the deck building works a little bit in Dune. I know you've played Dune, right? So
I have, yes.
It gives you like that sort of feel, but there's this whole board you're going down, trying to go down deeper in the dungeon. The thing that Clank Legacy adds to it is adds a whole bunch of story to it, and then it adds cards you rip up and stickers you put on stuff, and the fact that you get to name your characters. And then it's like a deck building game where you will start over each game, but then you have cards that'll stay in your deck sometimes, and you get to keep sort of things.
Oh, interesting.
And then in the first one, like there's lots of surprises. I mean, every Legacy game has lots of surprises that go.
I love Legacy games.
I can't oversell how much this is probably one of my best game experiences ever.
Really?
So much. The couple we played with, they wanted their own, so we played through it a second time, and they just had a baby, and we got a onesie. You get to name your tavern you go to, right?
Right.
Okay.
And ours was like, I think, Dirty Sack Flop House or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so their onesie on the back, it just said youngest member of the Dirty Sack Flop House, and to see them both just scream, and the entire room have no idea what's happening, and they're like, "This is the best ever."
That's so fantastic.
It creates, I mean, you really feel, this is, I mean, I played Pandemic Legacy, I played so many. It's so good.
The funny thing is it's based off Acquisition Incorporated, which is Penny Arcade's like D&D campaign, you know? So it's like their D&D campaign that they do streams of, they do stuff. I used to watch Acquisition Incorporated.
See, I didn't know the IP at all.
Yeah, it's basically their D&D campaign. They have their little group, their little tavern group that goes out and does missions. It's called Acquisition Incorporated. So this is in collaboration with Penny Arcade, and it's the fact that it's their D&D campaign means that this just feels very D&D themed.
So they're like a Critical Role style type thing.
Yeah, but they were before Critical Role. They did it like forever ago.
They just put everything like just like one of those clicks, you know, where you're like do 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 do, and everything just makes sense all of a sudden. From our crowd surfing yesterday, there was a
Acquisition Incorporated thing added.
The deck,
That's
the
Penny
deck
Arcade.
added to that, and I was like, oh, you're right, that is. I did not put that together.
Penny Arcade started off as doing just web comics, and then they started doing conventions, and they did all this D&D stuff. They have, it's kind of interesting because they're like just involved in like the nerd culture in general, because a lot of their comics are about that stuff.
That's interesting.
But they've spread, and the fact that now like board games are being on their IP based on their D&D group is kind of crazy.
See, and I see Mike mentioned it's the only Legacy game he finished, and I think that I agree with that because there's 10 games. It's about an hour each.
Right, and you feel like you get a lot of story throughout it.
You do.
That's cool.
It keeps it moving, and then it changes every game. You're excited. You're like, oh, you turn the board over.
The thing I love about this is the fact that there's spaces you can go.
Sorry.
To get story, and most of the time, whenever you go to them, it's worth doing. You know, so it's like
fantastic.
You want to go and grab those story pieces. It's like, oh, I should be leaving the dungeon because I'm about to die, but let me grab this one last story before I get out.
So. So if you haven't played it, you got to. It's great.
Yeah,
Talking to you, Camilla.
Me?
Yeah, you need to.
I'm back in.
The year it came out, it was the first one that came out. It was my number one game of that year. So.
Was it really?
Yeah. So I really enjoy it. But yeah, that's
an interesting topic too. Legacy versus campaign.
Yes.
You know, so all our feelings, thoughts.
The thing about
emotions.
Legacy games is normally they're shorter than like a full-on campaign game. You know?
I definitely would go Legacy far over campaign. I'm almost
because I never replay campaigns.
You can
anyway.
get through 10 games, but can you get through 40 games?
No, I cannot. Yeah. It's been proven.
But yeah, all right. That is the news.
Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less, and in this segment I'll be talking about games both for kids and for adults. Today I'm going to be focusing on some adult games. The simultaneous turn games are some of my favorite choices when playing, and a lot of people are familiar with roll and writes and flip and writes that fit into this category, and I love so many of those games. But today I'm going to be talking about a couple of other options that fit into the simultaneous play category. The first is Take 5. In this game, you are trying to get the least number of points as everybody is simultaneously picking a card from their hand and revealing it at the same time, and then the cards are placed out on 5 rows of cards. And you have to put them out in sequential order. And if your card would be the 6th card in that row, then you have to collect those cards, and your 6th card becomes the new row there. And you get points for any of the bull icons that are on your cards. And it's so great because it is so simple to teach. Literally anyone can figure out, okay, I have these cards, just pick one and place it down in front of me, and we'll see what happens. But there is a bit of strategy to it about which cards you're playing earlier on, which ones you're holding. If you just get lucky with playing out a low card, but somebody else plays a lower card, and that can impact whether or not you're collecting some cards or not. So there's a little bit that goes into it. And I mean, the fact that it plays up to 10 players is fantastic. There aren't a lot of non-party style or social games that can play up to 10 players. And it just keeps moving, which is so great. So this is one of our go-tos. We also like that in the same box, there is another game that's called Take a Number, and that is it's the same game, but it's for 2 to 4 players. Because if you're playing Take 5, it's great. It doesn't work as well with just 2 players. It takes a while to fill up the stacks and have there be more than 5 cards in a row. So they have it, the strategy altered a little bit, and the gameplay altered for a version that is very conducive to 2-player play. It's really fun, so it works really well. The other game that I wish to talk about today, I think it's on a lot of people's radar, and that is Draftosaurus. Draftosaurus is so simple, but just so rewarding and fun to play. In this game, you are trying to score the highest value park of dinosaurs, and you have these cute little wooden dinosaur tokens, and on your turn you place one in one of your pens, and then you pass them around, you get a new set of dinosaurs, and you place one. And so again, it's so simple. People can figure out, okay, I just need to place one of these dinosaurs, pick one and place it. But there's different scoring conditions for the different pens. There's different placement conditions of what you can place, like all the same dinosaur, all different dinosaurs, pairs of dinosaurs, and so on. There's a die that sometimes limits where you can place your little dinosaurs, and so you factor that in, and just then also the dinosaurs you happen to be getting to you when you come around, if it's what you wanted or if it's something that you can work with but isn't exactly what you were hoping for. So that's a 2-sided board. There are a couple expansions. It's very popular. Well, there's another game by the same game publisher which is rather similar, and it is called Dragon Parks. And again, it has simultaneous play, but I don't hear people talk about this one as much, which is too bad because it is so much fun. You have these clear, translucent cards, and if you are a fan of games like Canvas, and you like those kind of cards, it is hard to come across in the board game world, and it's in this game, and it's so fun. You have 3 little islands that you're choosing to place down these cards in order to get the most dragons and have different types of dragons, and you win by getting the most points, which is the most visitors. You have the most visitors to your parks at the end of the game. And the cards have different types of dragons. They have dragon eggs. Some of the dragons are angry, and that matters if you place a card on top of it. And there are even sheep on the cards, which matter because at the end of the round, if you don't have enough sheep out, some of your visitors go missing, which is a feature of the game that my kids and I perhaps think is a little bit too funny. So we really enjoy that part of it. But these are the type of the games, simultaneous play games, I feel are such great bang for your buck because in terms of game time, because you are actively involved the entire time, it is so satisfying to play. Just not having downtime can be really helpful sometimes. So I feel like games in this category should be a go-to for anybody who plays a lot of board games. So that's it for me today. You can check out my website and YouTube channel for more content. Thank you so much for having me on, and back to the folks in the studio.
All right, before we get into our top 3, which is going to be an amazing topic, we're going to talk a little bit about the Jack Vassell Memorial Auction, which is going on right now on Board Game Geek. Make sure to check that out. It goes to help support the fund, which is basically a fund, an organization that, like, when people are down on their luck, whether they have like some crazy medical bills or their house burned down, it's for gamers in need.
Gamers helping gamers.
Basically, gamers helping gamers. And I know there's tons of different people that have been helped out by this fund, but this helps bring in more revenue for that, so that way they can distribute that out to people who are really hurting and suffering and can't help themselves.
Yeah, I've heard so many stories about people be able to benefit from this. It's incredible. Yeah.
And there's some really cool stuff in the auction right now. I know one of the things that we're offering is a piece of the old studio, actually, and having moved from one to the other, and we have the Jack Vassell Memorial piece. That's going up there. Dan Halligan has a whole Obsession, like everything for Obsession, like that crazy, amazing mahogany insert, and some deluxe the coins that aren't even out yet. Just some really, really cool stuff in there.
And the cool thing about it is the fact that all the proceeds go to the fund or whatever. So I mean, you'll see things go for a lot higher than you normally would, but like it's awesome that you are helping out other people as you're bidding on different things. I put up a bunch of things back in the day for different stuff like Twilight Imperium games with people at cons and things like that, and it's just cool to see all the different interesting unique stuff. That's one of the cool things too, is it has unique things, like you said, like the parts of the old studio that people can bid on. And the Dice Tower always does like a giant box full of surprises and goodies, which is always fun. It's fun to see people bid on it, but then it's also fun as we put those things together and try to see how much crazy stuff we can put in there. You'll get some good games, you might get some terrible games, but you also might get crazy things like one of Camilla's shoes or something. So
why one of mine? That's weird.
We'll give one to Joey's. That's fine.
My shoes.
How about your socks? You get Roy's socks.
Anyway, but yeah, check out the Jack Vassell Memorial Auction, and that's going to be ending super soon, I think within the next day or so. So make sure to check that out before it's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, our top 3 topic here. So Joey's very passionate about tacos.
Very passionate.
So I said we should do top 3 taco toppings. So this is kind of a divisive topic, which we learned.
Yeah. Okay.
My number 1 is Taco Bell.
Yeah.
So you put Taco Bell on a taco?
He sends out the text to like best taco toppings, like top 3. Camilla's like, are there more than 3? And I'm like,
yeah, I was triggered. Like I was immediately like, what do you mean?
Oh, I deleted the contact. I'm like, she's out of my phone. I'm like, what kind of monster are you? And then she says, well, I was thinking of Taco Bell.
It was a rough day yesterday. It was long.
No one thinks of Taco Bell.
No. I think because if I think tacos, it's like they're standard on it. So if I think the favorite, I'm like, well, they all come with the same thing.
You never have homemade tacos.
Homemade tacos are best.
Different stuff on it.
Yeah, but it's always the same stuff I put on it. I just go down and get everything.
But are you soft shell or hard shell?
Hard.
Guys? You're hard?
I'm hard.
Are you soft shell? Or?
I'm definitely soft shell.
Me too.
Also, I don't want taco shells for my tacos. I want burrito shells for my tacos.
That's what I'm talking about.
More things in it.
So you like burritos?
No.
But I fold it like this.
It's awesome, man. Yeah, I fold my taco like a burrito anyway.
No, if I have a soft taco, then I do the 3-fold. So you fold it up to keep
omelet
all
style?
the innards inside. What?
Yeah. Omelet style?
I don't know. But not a full burrito, just like a taco burrito. What would that be together? I don't know. But you fold one side up and then the 2 sides, so it's like a 3-sided.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you do the Moe's thing where they fold it and then right at the end they rip it a little bit on the side? Every single
I love
time.
when they do that, but then
I'm talking to you, Mo.
You have to eat it from the side.
Oh, it's like, that's going to be a salad. It just turned into a salad right there at the end.
Yeah. There you go, every single time. Anyway, I guess we should start this. I guess I'll start and we'll just go around.
Okay.
This way, because that's the way we did our names. But so for me, my number 3 is actually just going to be hot sauces. Like I enjoy hot sauces. I have a specific one that's my favorite. I like the Chipotle Tabasco hot sauce is my current favorite hot sauce that I really enjoy. But yeah, there's so many good ones. Valentina and like Tapatio or whatever. Like there's so many good different hot sauces to put on a taco, and like that's just the thing that you top it off with, right? So you have all your different meats and different things like that in it, but then you just put hot sauce on the top, and it's just an amazing topping.
Have you ever ruined a taco with hot sauce? Like too much, you're like, I can't eat that now.
I would never not eat the taco that I put hot sauce on.
You're saying specifically hot sauce, or would it just be like a sauce, like a tomatillo sauce or something like that?
No. I'm talking about specifically stuff that's like
your taco needs to have heat to it.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I mean. My heat compared to other people's heat is probably going to be very different. Like
but you still have to have it. Is what I'm saying. I mean, outside of that threshold or whatever.
Yeah, I mean at Taco Bell, I normally don't have the option. I just drench it in those Taco Bell hot sauces.
Their fire sauce.
The fire sauce is not that hot. The diablo sauce tastes straight like garlic, but like it's like this is it just like, it should say garlic on it.
Yeah,
but, I mean it's
like,
good, it's fine, but honestly I just like the mild one because it's just full of cumin, and for some reason I love cumin.
Cumin's so good.
But yeah, that is my number 3 is hot sauces.
So I went past like the cheese, and honestly hot sauce I think just belongs on it too. But I went grilled onions. I know that's a fajita thing.
Yeah.
But grilled onions on a taco are really good. If you make them at home, you can do it. You're allowed. I checked. Well, check your state laws. But here in Florida, you can't put grilled onions on a taco, and they're really good. It's incredible. You don't like grilled onions?
I do. I'm trying to put that on my taco in my mind.
It definitely sounds like a fajito style thing.
It does.
Yeah,
That seems like a very
I like it.
interesting.
Yeah. You can put anything on a taco.
I've never really done grilled onions by themselves without grilled like green peppers. Also.
Right. It's always peppers and onions.
Yeah, those I don't know if you could shove in there. That's more of a fajita thing for me. I'd put them on there.
Which onions are not?
No.
I'm learning so
it's-
much about you.
I guess I don't like
the way your
raw
mind
onions.
works.
I don't do raw
I'm not
onions.
as much into raw onions either, so
So I
Like
guess
the little crunch they give. I don't know.
cool.
All right, for me, I went fish tacos on this one, and so I'm gonna do like the pineapple or the mango chutney that they put on the top. Ooh, that little bit of sweet sauce to your with the slaw.
That
You
is
kind of
good.
get a little bit of that, and then with the fish tacos, you have to have a good chutney on it. So yeah, the mango or the pineapple chutney on fish tacos.
That sounds
that's
amazing.
really good.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
I agree with that.
And then when it falls out, it's okay because you don't have to like three-fold your taco because if it falls out, then you just eat it with a chip, and it's just so good.
Yeah, fish tacos are really good. It's one of those I didn't want to try forever, and when you do, it's like,
It's such a good, and it's such a good like texture thing too, you know, because you have the slaw on it, and then the sweet of the little bit of chew that you get with the pineapple or the mango, and then the crunch coming with your fish, or if you get the grilled one, you get. I love fish tacos. I absolutely love fish
oh,
tacos.
so good, so good.
Yeah, I have it.
So for my number 2, I try to steer away from just like straight proteins on the stuff, but this
Right.
is one that I add on to a lot of tacos. Like I'll have, whether I have like chicken or steak or ground beef or whatever, I also like to put on chorizo on my tacos. I love chorizo, like which is like Mexican
Yes.
sausage. Like it's
Yeah.
just really, really good. Like I love chorizo and cheese dip. I love chorizo on tacos. I love chorizo and pupusas. Like chorizo is amazing. So chorizo is my number 2. Just like a Mexican sausage. Have you had chorizo before?
I have. I'm hit or miss on it. I find a
Really?
lot of times it's too gristly for me. I do
can
not
see
like
that.
gristle. I don't like at all. Like that. If I'm eating like a hamburger or something
Yeah.
like that, and I get a piece of gristle, it like ruins the whole dish for me.
Oh, wow. So it's like a texture thing for
Really
you?
don't like it. I don't know. It's just like I don't want to gnaw on a kneecap in the middle of my burger. Like,
In the middle of a burger.
You know, it's like, ooh, cool. There's a
thinking too hard
there's a
about it.
cartilage. I wonder if that's the nose. You know, like I don't know. It's just like my mind just goes
insanely
really far.
greasy though.
It is. It
but
is.
it is.
I do.
It's delicious. If you're eating a taco and it's not like running down your arm, are you really eating a taco?
You're not.
Really
That's
good
why you
taco.
eat it when you drive. Swim by Taco Bell. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to wear a towel.
Have you ever like eaten Taco Bell like while driving and be like, this is a bad idea. I know I'm gonna make a mess, and you're like, I think I can do it.
I
and
can
you
do
just
it.
fail
I can do
every
it.
time.
Yeah,
You fail every
You're
time. You got like
No way.
for
Taco
sure.
Bell like all over your seat, and you're just like at your clothes, and you're just like,
And you're like,
it's so worth it though.
Yeah, and then you're like, but I have no regrets.
I mean, you want a Mexican
That sure was
pizza,
worth it.
but you know they build it and they turn it sideways and shake it a couple times and put it in.
Yeah.
Now, chorizo is one of those I get sadness when they ask, what kind of meat? And you're like, chorizo. And they're like, we don't have that. You're like, oh.
It's
too
one of
late
those
to
things
leave.
that like
So
I almost
good.
I don't want to eat a taco with just chorizo as the
No.
protein. I want it as like a topping, like as an addition to the regular protein.
Really? I haven't tried it that way.
So,
Interesting, huh?
but yeah,
Well, I
so
guess-
that's my number 2.
I guess my next one makes sense like that too, because I do like bacon or bacon bits or whatever. And I think Taco Bell introduced me to
You're
that.
welcome.
There for a while, they were having the bacon chalupa, which the chalupa shell I was never crazy about.
Yeah.
But
Chalupa shells?
They're
Oh,
good.
they're my favorite.
They're so-
I love chalupa balls from
they're
Taco
so
Bell.
bready.
They're very bready. They're just like fried.
That means you can have more toppings because you then maintain that bread to innards balance.
Red innards. But they only did the bacon in that one. That's where I was like, this is really good. Of course, bacon's good on anything. Let's be honest. So, I mean, bacon is... And even bacon bits at home, I'll put bacon bits on it. You say no?
Not bacon bits.
Hey, I know that it's not bacon, but it's playing the
not.
part.
I saw your
Bacon.
salad yesterday.
Not bacon.
Listen, there was half a thing of bacon bits left, and Joey's like, they are all mine.
And then now
Don't
they're
give me
done.
the
I
entire
don't wanna
half a
point
container of
fingers.
bacon bits.
Yeah, I'm not gonna point fingers. but
On
there
his
was
thing,
half
he's like,
yesterday.
this is trash now. And it's like,
today.
holy smokes, Joey, that's a lot of
I got
bacon.
towards-
I didn't say anything at the time. I waited till we were live.
I was being judged, but I got towards the end. I'm like, there's not enough left to put in the fridge, and I just dump. And I was like, maybe no one saw it. Look over, Roy saw it.
Like, holy
like-
smokes, that's bacon bits with a little bit of lettuce on top. Like,
There's a lot of bacon bits. Yeah, so I feel judged.
So bacon.
There you go,
Bacon.
bacon
And
on a taco.
caramelized
That sounds
onions.
good.
Yeah,
Caramelized onions
caramelized.
and
That's a
bacon.
better word.
Listen, Joey lives outside the box, and I'm here for it.
I do.
All right. My number 2 is kind of a 2-in-1. It is going to be fresh pico, but in that it's fresh pico, specifically pico de gallo, because it has to have that fresh cilantro in it.
There you go.
I want cilantro on my taco.
So good.
And I always do extra cilantro in my pico de gallo, so it's got to be fresh. It's got to be good tomatoes, because I'm not a huge tomato fan. But if you can do a pico really well, then I'm absolutely on board. Absolutely.
That's really
So
good.
fresh pico de gallo with extra cilantro, because I adore cilantro. And by adore,
Yeah.
I mean eat it by the bushel.
Are we having tacos
Is
for
it
lunch? I feel
bushel?
like we should be
Is
having
it a
tacos
bushel?
for lunch.
really
Bunch.
do.
Starving.
A bunch. By the bunch.
By the bunch.
So, yep, gotta have it. Gotta have it. Love it.
Yeah.
Cilantro
Pico's
is
great.
really good
Cilantro,
on
pico de
tacos.
gallo.
It's like a.
That's the best thing about Moe's is their little like bar that you eat all the salsas and all that.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
love
Pico.
the taco place. You've been to the taco place down the street. You were
That's
talking
so
about it, taking
good.
pictures. They bring out like a little thing with just toppings, and one of them is like fresh pico de gallo
Which
with
one is this?
cilantro. It's down the street right over here. What's it called? I don't know.
Cinco de Hermanos?
You eat it
about to
outside
go
with
in
all these
chat.
lights and stuff. And it's funny. It's the one picture I saw on Roy's Facebook. I'm like, where's the invite? I'm like, I'm 3 hours away, but I would have came if you said we're going for tacos.
But it's cool because they bring out and they have pico de gallo with cilantro.
Yes.
But then they
You
also
would
have
love
like a
it.
little container of just cilantro.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm
so good.
You like some
Extra
cilantro pico de gallo,
cilantro.
but extra cilantro. You know, it's
Yeah,
really
for
good.
And
sure.
all the hot sauces
sure.
too they have up there. Yeah, it's good.
It's really
Oh
good.
yeah.
But yeah, so leading into that, I'm going to go for my number one. My number one is actually going to be, they're kind of the same thing, but two different things. But it's sour cream or Mexican crema to add onto your
Mexican
taco
crema.
as a topping.
So
like,
good.
For me, like I like tacos, but when you have the sour cream or crema on your taco, it just makes it so much better.
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
I just really enjoy that as the top topping. Of course, I love cheese and all that stuff too. But
Yeah.
that just sour cream is just amazing on a taco.
Yeah.
So it's my number one topping for taco. I would eat just the meat and sour cream on it because I'm a crazy person. But I like all the other stuff too. You know. But it just adds that flavor to it that's just a great.
Sour cream is one of those I will add if I have a room.
Wow.
No.
It's really a must for me.
Really?
Yeah.
It's such a contrast of flavors because everything else like really savory. It just brings a little bit of that sour, that little bit of sour taste to it that just kind of. So funny because it like separates the flavors but makes them all go together at the same time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it really is. I think. Well, maybe I'll talk
Regular
more
sour
about that
cream
in a
is
minute.
good, but the Mexican crema that you get that comes like in a bag that you have to like cut the corner off and you
Yes.
squeeze it onto
And
your
then it's-
taco.
yes,
I've never
it's
had that.
so
I need to
good.
have
You probably
that.
Because you need
have, don't know what it
authentic.
is.
I do.
Mexican crema.
I'm realizing I've never had tacos.
Yeah,
before.
I always make it my own too. You know, 'cause you'll take and put a little bit of lime juice in it or whatever.
yeah.
Make your own
Ooh.
crema. It's really good. Really good.
Lime juice is good at anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed.
So.
Is that your number one? Lime juice?
No, should be. My number one is weird. It's one of those that
They've been normal so far.
I know.
Bacon, caramelized onions.
Had it once at a taco place in Kansas City, and ever
Wait,
since.
one time?
But then I do it at home
And
all
it's
the time.
essential.
Okay.
Green olives, I love.
Wow.
I was going to say black,
I was
black
thinking about
olives.
saying
were
black
mine.
olives,
I
but
almost
I've
said
never had
black
green
olives.
Green olives at home. We always have green olives on the taco. Just the difference.
That's crazy.
Of the taste and like you said, the texture. It just gives you
Yeah.
that. Wow, it's really good. On
I wonder, have
tacos.
you had the green olives that are jalapeno stuffed?
Oh, really?
I bet those would be good on
That
it.
sounds
Those would
amazing.
be
Get a little bit of
good.
your little spice, your little olive. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yeah, so it's good because I
good.
like you say, it's the same thing as pineapple and sour cream. It's that difference. You know, you're really like, ooh, Yeah, I like that. So they're really good. Black olives are fine. They're not quite as pow.
They're not.
I used to think, like, I thought about, like, black olives is one of my things. I was like, oh, would that make top 3? I don't think it makes top 3, but I love black olives on,
Really?
on a taco.
Okay.
It doesn't make top 3 because I don't say, oh, good, it has black olives, but it's one I always want. You know what I mean? Like, these top 3 are like, no, I get really excited when I see these out there.
Most of the time, I've only done black olives, like, on tacos that I do at home. I've never seen it at places, like when I go out, ever. Like olives normally at a place you buy tacos from?
No, I never had it out, just at home. I lost Gator Dave. He's like, yeah, he's not with the olives. Hey,
also
it's
lost
only
mine.
at home, no one else.
That was me.
Oh, that was Chris.
I
Okay, sorry.
Plug the computers.
Got it.
I do like a charcuterie board.
Charcuterie board.
I do like. I want options for my tacos.
Quite literally.
That's hilarious. He was wine with his
I would do
tacos.
that. You know what? Those little potato sticks. I'd do that. I'd do that.
Wow,
Add a little
potato sticks
crunch.
are good on everything.
That's amazing.
Really would.
I'm going to back Roy up here on his number 1 with mine, but mine specifically is sour cream, but chipotle sour cream. And this is one that I
wow.
make.
What?
And so I take the chipotle peppers and the adobo sauce, and I chop them up real small, and so I make like a Mexican cream. What'd I say? What am I missing? Chris is laughing.
That sounds
I officially
good.
like. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I'll make it, and so it's like a Mexican cream, but I do it like chipotle with the chipotle peppers. So
It's funny.
anyway, yeah, so that's my number 1.
I've never had
sounds
that. Is
delicious.
that your creation? Because that sounds incredible, by the way.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've ever had it anywhere else. Because it's also, when I originally did it when I was making like a 7-layer dip, and then I liked it that much, and so I went to cream. I was trying to think of like what inspired or
Is
why.
Chipotle?
I don't know.
Like,
The chipotle peppers and adobo sauce,
love
you know that?
Chipotle,
And so you get that
yeah.
chipotle flavor, but that real strong,
I used to go-
chipotle peppers.
I used to
That
go,
sounds
when I go to Chipotle, I would get like a side of sour cream and then put the Chipotle Tabasco sauce in.
Yeah, which is so good too. That's my favorite
and stir it up
Tabasco.
and eat the chip with that.
Yeah, that's my favorite Tabasco.
Well, that was my
for
number
sure.
1. That was my number 1, or my number 3.
Yeah.
That was my number 1 hot sauce, but number 3 of this list.
Yeah, so now I realize like how this is like kind of like, not even humble bragging, just bragging. I was like, my favorite thing is something that I make. I don't know. Maybe
I have created.
I don't know. I've been doing it for years, so.
but it sounds great.
It is
I love
so
Chipotle.
good. It is really good. Like
Yeah.
I said, I do my 7-layer dip, and I love it on my tacos.
And honestly, anything could be a taco topping if you try hard enough, right?
This
Joey?
is true. I
Like
agree.
onions.
I will try many things on there. Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, that
you
is
go.
our top 3 taco toppings.
That's hard to say.
All right, welcome back to From Plate to Table, a space in this amazing buffet, smorgasbord, as it were, of gaming to talk about things that are 3D printed related. Now, I know before you run away and skip this and think, well, wait a minute, I don't have a 3D printer. I want to talk about something today that's pretty interesting that I've come upon. I backed on Kickstarter, and I'm pretty excited to start printing. So my thing is, I've always wanted to get a gaming table. The problem is, I'm not getting rid of my dining room table. And the office here, the magic room as we call it, which because there's magical stuff all around here, you just don't see it in frame, isn't big enough to have a gaming table inside of it. And then our breakfast nook over there, well, my kids are messy and they'll get syrup and stuff on it. So a gaming table is out of the picture, but I would love a surface in which we can put mats and games on a little bit easier, maybe an elevated surface. So I saw this on Kickstarter and I backed it. So it's now ready to start printing. So essentially what it is blocks that you clip together and put on little stands so that you have an elevated gaming surface above your table that you can make to any size. And it's got nice texture on it. It's got little dice towers that you can add to it, cup holders and things like that. All sorts of things that you can add to make an impromptu game table. And what's really cool is it comes apart in stores in a 1x1 cube. So very curious to this. I'm going to show you some of the footage right now. And then over the next few months, weeks, we're going to go through kind of some of the progress, kind of looking at this, if it was worth the, it really wasn't that expensive, but if it was worth the idea, if it's a good idea, if it's actually as sturdy as it looks, and then what we can do to improve it and how you can do this kind of thing as well. So let's roll some of this footage of what this Kickstarter is, and we'll come back and talk final thoughts. All right, here's the stage top Kickstarter, and you can see there they've printed it on a wood grain filament and then stained it, which is kind of nice because it has a nice wood grain. Room for snacks. The only thing I'm concerned with is that they're standing. I don't know if that's necessary completely, but it is a thing that's there. I like the ridge there, and there's even ones you can put lighting in. So now, look, that's a basic size 220 by 220 by 200 or whatever the size is printer. It's the basic smallest size of a 3D printer. You come out with these, then you clip these together, apparently using these little also printed nuts. They clip together, and then you clip those together, and then you keep putting those on more and more. And then eventually you're going to print these legs off, and then the legs will go in here, tighten up like that. And then you're going to print a topper. Now we're going to look at that later. So I'm pretty pumped about this. I'm pretty pumped to see kind of what can happen in this world of hand making, printing my own gaming surface. So it's a pretty cool idea in theory. We'll see how it actually plays and pans out in real life, because again, the concept is fantastic. But that's what we're going to do over the next few weeks, is kind of take a look at some of these pieces and if it's something you could get into. Because again, the size printer that this is recommended for are only $160 for a very good one. So I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower for Board Game Smorgasbord. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being interested. Thanks for your comments, chats, and all that. Let's get back to the studio. It's actually that way.
We're back! Yeah, back talk. So today the topic for back talk, we're going to be talking about basically thematic biases. So the idea is kind of like, does theme play into whether you like a game more or less? Like, is the theme in a game going to determine like whether you're interested in a game or whether you're going to enjoy the game more, or can you set that aside and look at just the raw mechanics of the game?
And as a disclaimer, we are all
highly thematic
themers,
games.
so we are biased in this topic for sure. Right. We're not representing both sides, I don't think.
Yeah. No. And I think, now you're looking at whether or not you'd play a game that has no theme or a theme you don't like.
I'm just saying, does like when you're purchasing games, when you are reviewing games or looking at games, how much of a role does that theme play into the game?
Okay, see, I was looking at it a little differently. I think I was looking at more of what Joey was alluding to here. In if I don't like a theme, can I still enjoy a game?
That also, like, is it is it going to deter, if you're not into the theme at all, is it going to pull you away from just enjoying the game in general?
Go ahead.
No. What were you going to say?
No, you go.
Oh, fine, I'll go. Theme will get me to want to grab something off the shelf quicker.
Right.
That's the thing. But then, like, most recently, I think I played Obsession with you, and that is one theme I would never have, like, jumped into.
Right.
You know? But it had theme in it. So I enjoy the game. Once you're in there, you feel like there's a theme in this game that I wouldn't necessarily have chosen.
Yeah.
But it worked so well with the mechanics of that game, I really enjoy the game. So that being said, I wonder if that elevates the game or lowers it because the theme is the one I'd pick. But I think the game itself is still highly rated because it just meshes so well.
And I think that's really true. For me, it's like a theme, what you said, a theme is going to get my interest and get it to the table quicker.
Right.
But the mechanisms are what keep me coming back to the game, I think, and as well as that thematic integration. You know, I mean, we looked at Santorini, for example. You can't really say the game, looking at it, telling you about it, doesn't have a theme. I can explain that game in the theme.
Right.
But it's not in the gameplay. That's not like integrated into it. So that's still a very abstract game.
Right.
You see, and so I think like Obsession, for example, we'll use that example, when the theme is one that I'm like, I'm not offended by, I don't love it, you know, either way, but it's so well integrated into the game that it does keep it coming back and it makes me care about it. And so I do think that a game or a theme can sway you in that and make you care more about it. It's not necessarily if I don't care about the theme, I'm not going to care about the game. I think that's the mechanism's job to connect those two.
And it's so nice when like a game has like its theme like just helps you learn the game as you play it too. It's like, oh, this makes sense. We're doing this. Oh, because we're actually doing that in the game, it actually makes sense as things go through. It just makes it easier to teach a game, easier to learn a game, and easier to kind of like stick with and stay with the game.
Right.
Will a strong theme help you ignore little imperfections in the game?
Absolutely.
It can.
For me,
I feel like I try to get over that, but sometimes I will. It's the same. If it has a strong theme, I'll kind of ignore little things. Like there's one game we played, and it'll also take me out if it does not match the theme perfectly. There's a game we played recently that you're playing hunters, and I won't go into what it is, but there are certain times where you can't move. You don't have the cards to move. So thematically, I'm imagining this hunter just standing there in the forest with nothing to do for his turn.
Like
it's like,
mode.
I can't move. okay, I guess I'll just stand here. And then the next person goes, he's like, still can't move. So thematically, that took me out of it. This hunter is just going to stand there, just randomly just start kicking rocks when he's trying to kill this monster. And that took me out of the game. That monstrous problem with the theme for me. And it was a theme that I loved, you know?
Yeah, no, and I absolutely recognize this is a me thing, but a theme that does not match those mechanisms or takes it out and doesn't, like you were saying, that thematic integration where it's like I understand and can teach the game better because that theme matches what you're trying to do. Opposite of that, absolutely will take me out of the game when there's not a good integration of that or a good match of them. And again, that's me. I understand that's me. That's not everybody. I'm pretty strong themer. You know, it will kill a game for me if it doesn't fit.
And another thing I think is very interesting is like there's so many, like we see so many games with the same themes on them over and over and over again, you know? And like everybody always like, oh, we want to see new themes, we want to see abstract themes, but I wonder like how well different things sell, you know? It's like you've seen 1,000,001 fantasy games, you've seen 1,000,001 like space games, and like I'm weird because I'm like biased, like those are my favorite genres of games, and I just keep seeing those styles pop up. Like I wonder, but then you have things like Wingspan that steps outside of that box. It's about birds, and it does amazing. But then you see a whole bunch of games pop up around that theme.
Absolutely,
as well.
but I mean, I think there can be different takes on the same theme as well. Just like we were just talking about in the news here recently with the Deadly Dowagers, where it's, you know, it's another Victorian era or, you know, whichever era, Downton Abbey style game. But it's a little bit of a twist on it. You know what I mean? I mean, everyone's saying, I'm so sick of nature games. Well, we're seeing so many different nature games. You know, Wingspan compared to like Meadow, for example, a walk through, or compared to Dog Park. You know, I mean, like there's so many different takes on it. I think that's what, it's not a matter of we're oversaturated with the same themes. It's these games that kind of step outside of the box a little bit. You know, I think to lump everything together as, oh, it's a space game. Well, what kind of space game? I mean, Star Wars could be a space game compared to Cosmic Encounters, compared to, you know, things like this. So it's an interesting take. And so to go back, I think for a little bit on what you said, Joey, on like, do you ignore imperfections of the game? Yes. To an extent, though. You know, if the game is broken, a theme is not going to save a game for me, though, either. You know what I mean? It's not like this game is broken, but it's like little imperfections. If it works thematically, I will overlook it. Or I can at least say, like, hey, I can say this is not the most, you know, mechanically or sound game, but I still really like it, and it's gonna come to the table because of that. You know, when I want to play this theme.
I like the fact that you said like, oh, it helps me like get it to the table or like want to play it at least. Like be like, oh, I'm really interested in that theme, so I'm gonna get it out and put it on the table and try to see if it works. But then if it doesn't work, then from there it's kind of like like it helps you revigor like that interest in the game, like starting off, and then like if it's not mechanically sound, then it's like, okay, well, this is not gonna work.
But you have to have, because sometimes, I mean, as with anything, movies or whatever, if you go into expecting not to like it, you're probably not going to like it. You know, and the flip side. Now, I will say that great mechanics will help overcome either a themeless or a theme I'm not crazy about. So I do like mechanics too, because I'll play anything, especially if if someone's passionate about it. They're like, you got to play this game. I'm like, well, then I need to play this game. You know, and their passion normally comes over to me no matter the theme for me.
Are there themes that you ever see that you're just like immediately just turned off by, or like I would never play that style game really?
I think the only ones that really turn me off are the ones that are blatantly preachy about something. I don't like politics in my board games. I don't like to have a viewpoint shoved down my throat.
What if they're overly cute? You're like, no.
You know, no. And so I think like anything that really just shoves some viewpoint down, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just very in your face. And again, I don't want to give examples on this one specifically, but something like that. Like that's not necessarily a theme, but I think it is a style where it feels like it is just trying to sell a viewpoint rather than immersing you in a world or an idea or a theme or a part of IP, you know, whatever it may be. But I think that's really the only time that I'm like, I have not negative interest, but like I won't play that. I don't want to play that because of the theme.
For me, it's odd in the fact that I love sports, like in March Madness, I'm glued to watching basketball and stuff, but in games, it turns me off. And I don't know why. I guess I haven't seen it done well yet. I hear Basketball is great, you know, and all this, but I haven't actually jumped into that. For some reason, that's not one I gravitate to. You know, so that right there is like, I don't know, because I think I like the whole fantasy space, that type of thing. That will pull me in a bit quicker.
Yeah,
or unique.
I feel like I'm such like a basic nerd when it comes to like themes and stuff like that. I always get drawn into the same stuff. It's like the same games that you see all the time. It's like I like space, I like fantasy, I like nerdy stuff and superheroes and things like that. But when themes like are outside that box, I'm like, I'll play the game if people say it's really good and the mechanics are good, you know, and be like, okay, I'll try it out. But for some reason, it doesn't excite me, and I understand that's a me problem.
Right,
you know?
absolutely. And again,
I'm like,
we're all themers here.
It's a farming game, or it's a like even nature stuff. I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. You know, that's cool. And I love that those games exist for those people, and I love that there's outside of the box themes.
Yes, there's a place for it all.
And I want to see more and more of that stuff. I love, especially when they're like solid games that match their themes and do that stuff really cool. But for me, it's like, oh, a new fantasy game comes out. Oh, it's got this. Okay, cool. I'm really to try it. You know what I'm saying?
It's like Joey. Well, it's like Joey said too. You know, where he's like, you know, and somebody else being excited about that can make you excited about it.
Right.
You know, so maybe I don't care about space games, but hey, your excitement of that.
Everybody says it works good, so it's like, okay, cool. Like I already know the mechanisms are going to be good, so I'm going to be willing to jump into it.
And sometimes I feel a bit hypocritical too, because like there for a while, Cthulhu games were just nonstop coming out. So I was oversaturated. I'm like, you know, I'm out. Every time they come out,
feel that way about
roll my
zombies.
eyes. Right, but then I realized if a new Marvel one, I'm like, oh, check it out. You know, or like a fantasy one, I'm like, okay, let me look at that. Which I don't know. Maybe I don't know the IP as well. But now I'm back to Cthulhu because there's some great Feed the Kraken and all that. I've realized, you know what? Just go through it, and it's so. I think that's a big thing. Oversaturation, I think, is.
But again, I mean that depends because I mean it could easily be said that Marvel's oversaturated, but you are, like you just said, you're still excited about that. So I think that it is important to recognize that yes, there's a lot of Cthulhu games. Some people aren't over it, and that's okay. You know, some people aren't over zombies. Some people aren't over that, and so that doesn't mean like, hey, we don't need any more of these.
And the reason that there's so many of them is because the market wants it. Like people want to play those games, and they keep selling. You know, if people if all the Marvel games stop selling or all the Cthulhu games stop selling, then they'll stop making them. You know, it's the reason they keep making them is because people have new ideas for that IP or new things
and little different takes on it, that kind of stuff. There's someone out there that's not tired. You're not tired of Marvel. It's very indifferent to me at this point, but that's okay. I love that there are those there's room for that varied aspect in the game.
And that's why I like the variety of the different gamers out there, because the people that do love play everything Cthulhu. Because I'll depend on them to come up and say, oh, you haven't played Death May Die? It's like, well, you've got to play that. I'm like, well, I had Cthulhu. I'm like, yeah, but this one you've got to play. And those people will bring others in. And I'm glad everyone has their own genre that they kind of zero into.
Right.
You know? And they'll play everything. And you don't like, if you like a genre, you're going to play a lot of bad games in that genre. You know, I know you've been burned on fantasy a lot.
Right.
You know,
it's I mean, like, the more games there are for a genre, the more likely there is to be bad games.
Right.
Yeah, statistically, So anyway. So for us, theme matters, and it will kind of draw you into a game and kind of give it that first pass and maybe forgive a little bit, but at the end of the day, you still need solid mechanisms for me. Like that's what keeps the game for me.
Yep.
And am I biased? Most definitely.
Absolutely. 100%.
Wine
I'm also
making.
open bias, you know what I mean? Like I'm biased to this, but it's not like I will only play this type of game.
Right.
You know, I'm only going to play nature games.
Well, it's interesting. So I mentioned wine making. I wouldn't have ever picked up viticulture as a theme, but it's a great game.
Yeah,
or distilled, where like you're making different alcohols and stuff like that.
Right.
It's cool to see different themes on stuff like dancing games and different games, all sorts of different crazy stuff. It's just cool to see all sorts of different ideas coming out for game design. So.
I agree.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Well, that has been Smorgasbord. I hope you've enjoyed this crazy episode with completely different people. But we've had a lot of fun with it.
I got upgraded to Camilla midstream here.
We call ourselves the Big Three.
The Big Three.
Do we?
No, we should. I don't know if we should.
Why are we so big? Anyway. Thank you. It's because we've been enjoying so much Smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord. I like your Smorgasbord.
But yeah, so thank you so much for joining us. We have... I think is this the last live thing for this week?
Right, because the top 10 today is pre-recorded. Mike, Z, and Tom.
Make sure to check that out.
Yep. That's this afternoon.
It'll be premiere.
It is going to be premiere.
What time?
So you'll be able to watch it live. So make sure to join in on that for 2 o'clock. Hit up everybody in chat there as well. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. Tons of reviews and things going up still on the channel. Lots of cool things coming. But make sure to check this stuff out. Anyway, I've been Roy Canning.
We're going this way, right?
No,
I'm Joey Evans.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Yes.